First of all, I would like to thank you all. In our first hazard identification video, we shared with you the dangers encountered in areas such as excavation works, rebar works, formwork, and concrete pouring. The positive feedback we received showed us once again how valuable these efforts are. Now we are here with our second video. This time, we will take a closer look together at the hazards in high-risk activities such as steel erection, scaffold installation, and similar works. Our goal is the same, to identify hazards on time so that we can take the right precautions and strengthen a safe working culture together. If you are ready, let's begin. Let's start with the first image in the video. Here we see a steel erection activity. There are many hazards that can be identified. You now have 10 seconds to think. Hazard 1. Sometimes it is courage, or sometimes failure to recognize danger, that leads to unsafe behaviors. In this image, we can clearly see the risk of falling from height. Hazard 2. If a lifting activity is present, the risk of dropped loads must always be considered. Whether due to sling failure or exceeding capacity, there is always a danger of the load falling. Hazard 3. The work area must always be kept free from hazards. In this image, we see scattered materials creating a tripping hazard. I am sure you were also able to identify other hazards. Keep it up. You are doing great. Now, let's move on to the next image. Here we see steel erection finalization works. Again, many hazards can be identified. You now have 10 seconds to think. Hazard 1. With so many materials lying on the ground and poorly stacked, the tripping hazard is obvious. Hazard 2. The manlift baskets working so close to each other pose a collision hazard between baskets. Hazard 3. When using equipment like a manlift, there is always the risk of collision between the basket/boom and the fixed steel structure. Hazard 4. If a moving piece of equipment enters the work area, there is the risk of striking nearby workers. Hazard 5. As our work level rises, the risk of falling from height becomes unavoidable. Hazard 6. Working at height also brings the danger of falling tools and equipment, such as hand tools and power tools. Hazard 7. When using a manlift, we must also consider the possibility of tipping over or basket failure leading to a fall. Let's continue with another image. Here we see a worker carrying a scaffold pipe by hand from one place to another. Again, you have 10 seconds to think. Hazard 1. If materials are carried manually, manual handling hazards are always present. Hazard 2. Carrying such a long pipe alone creates the risk of striking other workers or materials with every movement. So far, you are doing excellent. Let me share a quick fact with you, like a short break. The human brain tends to focus more on sudden and dramatic hazards while ignoring long-term but more probable risks. For example, we may fear an airplane crash, but ignore the fact that air pollution kills thousands of people every day. This is because our brains evolved to focus on immediate threats. Psychologist Paul Slovic calls this the affect heuristic. We judge risks based on the fear they evoke, not their actual probability. Now, let's look at a scaffold installation activity. This image presents many hazards to identify. You have 10 seconds to think. Hazard 1. Once again, we see working at height without a safety harness properly worn or attached, leading to a serious fall hazard. Hazard 2. While scaffolding is being installed, falling scaffold materials pose a risk, especially if workers are directly below. Hazard 3. With so many materials stored haphazardly on the ground, tripping and ankle sprain hazards are inevitable. Hazard 4. Since scaffolds are temporary working platforms, we must always keep in mind the risk of scaffold collapse or overturning. And of course, many more hazards exist on our work sites. I believe these exercises are helping you sharpen your hazard recognition skills. You are on the right path. Never overlook hazards.